Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome to the team. I am so excited that you decided to join on as a coach. So I have a few questions for you to start. When you were a kid, have you played in Little League? Cool. What teams were you on? Ah, nice. I myself played for 4 years. 3 in Little League and 1 in Babe Ruth Ball. In Little League, I played for the A's 1 year, the White Sox for 2 years, and Babe Ruth, the Giants, for 1 year. Yeah. Have you ever coached before? This will be your first time? No problem. Yeah. I've only coached a couple of years, but this is my first year as a manager. Which one is my son? So I have no kids, but my little brother is playing on the team. Yes, same parents. 20 years difference. I know. I'm very protective of them. Anybody messes with them, messes with me. He's a good kid, but he does get into trouble from time to time, and when he does, our dad is incredibly disappointed in him every time, and he lets him know. He is one disappointed father, but I am one protected brother. But he is a good kid. You're going to get along with him. I said, hey, we talked about this earlier. You and I agreed that you were going to stop spitting sunflower seed shells in the dugout. Okay, that's unacceptable. I know. You could spit in the garbage. There's garbage right outside the dugout. Go to that garbage can, spit them out there, and clean up the seeds you just spat. Okay, sorry about that. So let's talk defense. When you played, what position did you play? Third base? Nice. What was your nickname? Did you have a nickname when you played on a team? I don't know. That's okay. We don't always remember. Oh, I don't know was your name. Oh, I get it. Your team did the Abbott and Costello routine and just gave each other nicknames based on that. Got it. Okay. So who was on first? What was on second? I don't know, aka you were on third. Today was catching, tomorrow was pitching. I don't give a was your shortstop. Why was left field? Because was center. And I don't get it was right. Gotcha. Yeah, Alan Costello never established who was in right. No. Yeah, I know who was on first, but Alan Costello never established who was on right. Stay on the infield. I'm talking about right field. Yeah. Alan Costello never established who was in right. You know what? Never mind. They never established the name of the right fielder. Yeah. So I'm glad that your team created a name for your right fielder in the form of I don't get it. And how did you come up with the name I don't get it? Oh, a friend of yours said I don't get it when you were doing the routine to them. And you're like, they're in right field. I love it. Well, we don't have any nicknames established for our players yet, but we always can. We could do the who's on first routine. I love me some Abbott and Costello, so I'm all for that. Or we can always come up with our own. I'm down for either one. Let's talk defense. So As you know, a lot of mitts have a hole in the back where you could pop your finger out like this. My glove even has an outline indicating that. But I personally don't like to do that. And let me tell you why. When I have all fingers in the glove like this, I feel like my hand and my glove have become one. So it feels more natural to catch the ball. If I have my finger out like this, it breaks the illusion and I find it distracting. Plus, I have 3 fingers working the glove to close it to catch the ball. If my index finger is out, which means I only have 3/4 of the grip strength. If the ball is coming at me fast, that means it is more likely to bounce out of my glove. You know what I mean? I played first base and right field. Very catching oriented positions. Obviously not as catching oriented as catcher, but you know what I mean, because somebody's trying to throw at me when I'm at first. If I drop the ball, that means the runner's safe, and that can make or break your game. One error can break your chances of winning the game. I've seen it happen many times. I've experienced it myself quite a few times, where my team committed one error and it cost us the game. You don't want that to be you. You don't want that to be us. So we're going to have to discuss a lot of strategy to avoid that with the kids. And in my opinion, one of them is keeping all fingers in the glove. Now, some kids may be different. Some of them may be more comfortable having one finger out like this. And if that's the case, then they should do that. But they're going to have to figure out what is more comfortable for them. Whether they do that or they take my approach and just have all your fingers in the mitt, like so. Now, let's talk defensive plays. Let's talk different scenarios. Now, say that you have somebody on first and third, and there is only one out. Now, the person at first decides to steal second. You pitch the ball, runner goes. Should the catcher try and throw that runner out? Yes or no? No. Good, good. Why? Because whether or not you get that out at second, runner and third can easily just run home, because it takes a lot more time for the ball to cross the diamond than it does for the ball to go from the mound to the plate, because it's double the distance, right? So as soon as the catcher lets go the ball, throwing to second, runner at third instantly takes off and runs home. And that's a lot of time for the ball to go across the diamond and a lot of time for the ball to come back. Not to mention the amount of time the second baseman or shortstop, whoever's standing there, takes to tag the runner out when they're sliding, catching the ball and bringing the glove down to tag them, and then trying to throw home. By the time it gets back to the plate, it's going to be too late. Runner already scored. So just give him second. Just give him second. Give him second. A better idea is to fake throw to second and then throw to third and get them in a pickle. You know how hard it is to escape a pickle unless one of the defenders throws poorly and the ball gets away? It's very hard to escape a pickle otherwise. So you could trick them into running. They are geared up and ready to go. You fake it. They start going. They realize what they've done. By the time they do, you got them strapped. That's what you got to do. So that person at third goes second, and at least you'll get the runner out at third. You're in a better position with one runner in second than runners at the corners. Okay? Good. Here's another scenario. Let's say you're playing left field or right field, and a high fly ball is hit, but it's going to land in foul territory, and there's a runner on third, and there's less than 2 outs. Meaning, if you catch the ball, they can tag up and run home. Should you catch it, or should you let it go? It depends on how deep it is. That is correct. If it's a shallow fly ball and you could easily throw them out from where you are, then go ahead and take the out and gun them down at the plate. But if it's hit deep and there's plenty of time for them to run home, let the ball drop in foul territory. They can't go anywhere because it's a foul ball. They're not allowed to go anywhere until the pitcher has the ball and the batter's ready and they start the play over again. Okay? It's only if the ball lands fair or if you catch it for the out. Because if you catch in foul territory, then the play continues as if it was fair. The batter's out and the runners can go. So don't let that happen unless you can get them out. It's worth the risk. You don't always want to go for the out. You want to go for the out in most cases. Good. Now, here's a tricky situation. 1 out. Again, runner on first and third. You're the shortstop. And a grounder is hit to you. It's a sharp grounder down the middle. You're barely able to dive for it, but you manage to stop it. Where do you throw it? Yeah, don't throw it home. Obviously, the runner at third is going to run on home. But that run doesn't count if you manage to get 3 outs on that play, as long as they're all force plays. Yeah, the runner can make it home before you complete the outs. And it still won't count as long as you get nothing but force plays or catches in the air. If you tag them, then the run can still count. So just throw it to second. Second baseman, throw it to first. Get the double play. You're out of the inning. No run scored. If you throw it home, they're still going to have to tag them. You're further away, and there's not going to be a lot of time to get them. It's kind of a risky move. Remember, in 99% of cases, you're going to want to go for the certain out. Go for the certain out. Sometimes it is better if you just throw it out at first and let the runner score at home, because it's better to let the runner score than try to get them out and failing and not getting anybody out. Right? Sometimes you got to make sacrifices. It's like chess. Now, let's talk my favorite part of the game that most people dread. Hitting. Nothing makes me feel more at home than stepping up to the plate and swinging the bat and crushing the ball. I'm not going to swing it here. Don't worry. You're safe. But let's talk a few strategies on hitting. So, if the ball is thrown right at your feet, should you just stand there and let it hit you and take your base, or should you try to get out of the way? Try to get out of the way. Good, you know your stuff. I had a coach that didn't get this. I had a coach that would always say, come on, take one for the team. But it's against the rules too. You have to try to get out of the way. If you don't, it doesn't count. If you don't, you're not going to take your base. So you have to try to get out of the way. So take a ball, and if they do that 4 times, you're going to take your base anyway. But in most cases, it's better to get a hit than it is to walk. Because if you have runners in scoring position and they're not in a force situation, then you get a walk, they're not going to go anywhere. But if you hit the ball, they can easily advance. Now, should you always try and hit the ball when the ball is in the strike zone? No, absolutely not. There are certain circumstances where you're going to want to just take a strike. Yeah. Let me explain. Sometimes, if you make contact, it's going to be worse than just striking out. There's people on base, you risk grounding a double play. If there's like a really awkward pitch that's like really towards your knees and in, you're probably going to hit it at bad angle and it's going to ground into a double play. So you don't want to do that. So you're going to want to wait for your pitch. There's a reason why That's a saying. Wait for your pitch, because you're going to want to wait for your pitch. Sometimes you want to take a strike. So the only time you want to swing at all costs when the ball is going to be in the strike zone is if you have 2 strikes on you. If you don't, sometimes just let the ball go by, take the strike, and wait for a better pitch. Wait for the pitcher to slip up and give you an easy hit. If they give you an easy hit, always go for it. Sometimes, like a lot of people say, never swing at the first pitch, and there is some truth to that, because a lot of times batters aren't psychologically ready until a pitch or 2 goes by, and then they're in gear and they know how the pitcher's going to throw. There's truth to that. But if you see a pitch that happens to be slow enough for your brain to see what's going on, but fast enough for you to get power off of it, and straight enough for you to be able to locate it properly, go for it, even if it's the first pitch. That's rare, but it does happen. Don't let those opportunities go by. Okay? Now, let's talk bunting. When do you want to bunt? That's right. A good time to bunt is when there's somebody on first or even second and you just want to advance them 1 base. If you don't think you're going to get a really good hit, but there's 1 out or less, you can do a sack bunt. Just bunt the ball far enough from the catcher, far enough the pitcher, not too far so it goes to the third or first baseman. Find that sweet spot and then run to first as fast as possible. Maybe you'll still make it, but the intent is not to get on base, but to advance the runners, because somebody on second is way more likely to score on the next hit than somebody on first. There is a much bigger difference between first and second and second and third. That's why it's called scoring position when you're only at second base. Second base, you're moving away from the outfield, whereas first base, you're going towards them. So it is much harder to make it from first base when the outfielders have the ball and they're ready to get you. But you're running towards third, you're running away from the right fielder and the center fielder, kind of along the lines of the left fielder. I'll give you that. But then you're running home, you're running away from all the outfielders and all the infielders. So that is the easiest base advancement, and it's what scores the run. So a sack bunt will get your teammate at first towards second, and it gives them a much better chance to score a run for your team. So it's a great contribution. Not very popular to do. A lot of people want to get on base themselves and score a run themselves. I get that. It's glorifying. But remember, it is a team sport. It is the baseball equivalent of getting an assist in basketball. And trust me, that's a good thing. It's much better than just getting out and out of the inning and not scoring at all. You know what I mean? It's a team effort. All right. Well, practice is about to start. So let's get our gear ready and let's share what you and I shared with the kids, and we'll run some drills so that they can practice all these strategies and techniques. And then when season starts, we'll be ready to crush it. Let's do this. Stay chill.